Good morning. I am at Bond Street Elizabeth Line station, one of the two entrances, Hanover Square end, because today is Monday the 24th of October 2022. The Elizabeth Line is about to get its final piece of the puzzle, Bond Street Station. It's going to be opening any second now. Come, let's go check it out. Hey!
Here we go. Take your time. Make sure you grab a bag. Welcome to the jewel in the Elizabeth Line crown, which is Bond Street Station. Welcome, my friend.
Hey!
Okay, so here we go. Second bag. Welcome. There's badges.
Thank you very much.
There's all sorts of goodies in there. Welcome.
Thank you. So this is Bond Street Elizabeth Line. This is a Hanover Square end. First person to touch in. And these are going to be some of the longest escalators on the TfL network. Longest on the Elizabeth Line. Here we are. Give us a wave, guys. Welcome to Bond Street Elizabeth Line station. This is the final central operating section station of the Elizabeth Line, the jewel in the crown. Obviously the line opened in May, but this station just took a tiny bit longer. My plan right now is we're going to get the very first train out of this station towards Abbey Wood, one stop over to Tottenham Court Road. At Tottenham Court Road, we're going to mosey along the platform, because we'll actually have enough time to, at Tottenham Court Road, get this Paddington train in 28 minutes and be on the first westbound arrival. So we're going to be on the very first eastbound departure and the very first westbound arrival here at the brand new Bond Street Elizabeth Line station. Morning, guys! Morning. So we still have 12 minutes until the first train. Why don't we pop upstairs the other end and have a little look around? We came in on the Hanover Square entrance right the way down there. This end is what connects on to the existing Bond Street Underground station, as well as another brand new entrance. Up those escalators there, another new entrance. Through there is a link to Bond Street Underground station, Central and Jubilee line. We just came from the Hanover Square entrance, like I said. This is the Davies Street entrance. So, Bond Street Elizabeth Line, two new entrances. This one just shy of Bond Street Tube Station, just over the road there. If we head down now, let's go get the first train. So our first eastbound train is currently standing in Paddington Station as we speak, just 4 minutes away from here. Obviously, previously these trains would shuttle right through to Tottenham Court Road. This is going to be the very first train to stop at Bond Street Station. Let's go catch it.
Train now approaching platform A is your eastbound Elizabeth Line service, calling at Tottenham Court Road, Farringdon, Liverpool Street, Whitechapel, Canary Wharf, Custom House, Woolwich and Abbey Wood.
Yes! Have you seen these?
Yeah.
Who's over this one? Yes! There are some Paddington fans.
Hey! Fine. Expecting you. Welcome to the very first Elizabeth Line train to call at Bond Street Station. Onwards to Tottenham Court Road.
question now.
Well, there we go. Very first Elizabeth line service to depart from Bond Street Station. I think there's some very confused commuters on this train who are just getting their regular first service of the day, who are wondering why a load of people with cameras have jumped on their train. It's a bit of a running theme every time TfL opens a new platform. There's the man himself. Hey, I recognise you. I recognise you from somewhere. Yes. As if by magic, they're actually really close together. It's Tottenham Court Road. So we're going to jump out here, run across the platform, and get the very first westbound train to Bond Street Station.
I've already let the cat out of the bag.
Here we are. Welcome to Tottenham Court Road. So we have 8 minutes for the first westbound train to Bond Street. You're going to see this platform fill up now with everyone who's just gotten off of that train.
Next service on platform B is for Paddington. First stop, Bond Street.
Way!
And then Paddington. This train is currently at Farringdon, 1 station away, and will be here in approximately 2.5 minutes' time.
Our train to Paddington is just 2 minutes out now. An interesting fact, actually. Obviously, previously the trains have been running through Bond Street to Paddington, and the addition of Bond Street Station isn't going to affect the timetable at all, because up until now, the trains have been running at a reduced speed all the way from Tottenham Court Road to Paddington, taking into account the future where they will eventually stop at Bond Street. So now, this train is going to stop at Bond Street, but it will get into Paddington at the exact same time as it did last week, week before that, because it was all accounted for. It's no longer going to be a slow crawl from Tottenham Court Road to Paddington, but a nice, fast journey stopping at Bond Street.
Is that a train? That's a train.
Here comes our train.
The train approaching the platform is a westbound service to Paddington, and the next stop will be Bond Street. The train down the platform is your westbound service to Paddington Station, and the next stop will be Bond.
Here we are. This is the very first westbound Elizabeth line service that will stop at Bond Street Station.
The train is now ready to depart. Please stand back behind and close the doors. Next stop is Bond Street.
This is the train to Paddington. Next station, Bond Street.
Hey, God, it feels like so long since I was last here. There it goes, the very first westbound departure from Bond Street Station. So we've ticked off both of the first trains, been to both of the new entrances. Let's go check out the link to London Underground, which is that way. This right here behind me is the link to the London Underground station. The pre-existing station has had its own upgrade works. So through here, we'll find the Central and Jubilee line. I tell you what, one interesting thing about this corridor is it doesn't actually say Central and Jubilee line. It just says Underground, and I'm not too sure if there is another place on the Elizabeth line that's like that. And so this right here is where the Elizabeth line links to the London Underground at Bond Street Station. Got your Jubilee line that way, got your Central line that way. Let's head upstairs and we'll check out where the new Davy Street entrance is. See you up there. Now this is one of the old pre-existing station entrances for Bond Street, and all we need to do is come around here, and right there is your splash of purple. That is your Davies entrance to Bond Street Station. Not too far from the pre-existing entrances, but obviously extra capacity is always welcome, especially with a line this big. And here we are again, the Davies Street entrance to Bond Street Elizabeth line. And so having come back down those escalators, we're once again back here at the link to the London Underground. And down here is the platforms. So that's it. This is the brand new Bond Street Elizabeth line station, finally open. The crowning jewel. Next big steps for the Elizabeth line is this November. Services are going to start running all the way through from Shenfield to Paddington, and from Heathrow and Reading out to Abbey Wood. That's the next big phase for this line, so keep your eye out for that. After that, some more tinkering come May, and the Elizabeth line is done pretty much. Only Old Oak Common to look forward to. But for now, this is Bond Street Station. I've been Taking Trains 101. Thank you very much for watching. Ta-ra!